Recording in progress. I like it when that lady says that, because that means that we now have witnesses to anything we talk about. And so we can't get in too much trouble. I have a lawyer that told me one time, the pathway to heaven is never be a witness or a defendant. So these video conferences are pretty cool for that regard. My name is Bob Kobeck. I'm the president of CustomerCount, Mobius Vendor Partners. And I'm here with two friends of mine, Mike Hill, who we work with in our employee experience group. And usually when I introduce Mike, I put up one of his books, but I don't have one handy. Do you have one close by, Mike? Well, right behind you, actually.
Doesn't matter.
There you go. There you go. Mike works with Mobius, and you may be aware that we are pretty good at designing employee experience feedback and surveys to accommodate a business. And then we're here with another friend of mine, Drea Rocca. I've known Drea for several years. She has a marketing firm called the Rocca Marketing Group. They're out of Arizona. And the reason we're on this call today is because we do a lot of work in the travel industry, hospitality. By we, I mean CustomerCount and Mobius. As such, we were fortunate enough to get hooked up with Mike, who likes exotic travels, and he climbs mountains and he goes skiing, and there's nothing mundane about Mike's travel. Then in the course of doing business, of having the opportunity to do business with Drea, I found out that she's a mountain climber also. Mike told me that he was about to go and climb Mount Kilimanjaro. And I thought, wow, wouldn't that be an interesting podcast if good old Mike was able to share his experience with us as he's climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, which then brings us to Drea. Drea has climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. So the two of them have chatted briefly about what Mike can expect. And I thought, you know what, this would be a great opportunity to kind of live vicariously through Drea and Mike and talk about the experience. Mike, and particularly about what it's like to get ready. I know Mike is just chewing on his knuckles right now, wanting to get started. Really looking forward to it. And Drea's nodding her head because she knows you're ready to go, like really early, right, Drea? I mean,
as soon as you book it.
You ready? Takes a lot of preparation, a lot of training too, right, Mike? I mean, you've been humping pretty hard.
Started the first of the year. So yeah, 6 months, pretty seriously.
And how has that impacted your golf game?
Actually, it's helped quite a bit.
Good.
You get your legs stronger, and surprise, your swing is better. Ball goes farther. So,
man, I got to imagine balance is kind of important when you're training to climb a mountain.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Drea, when's your next climb?
I'm going to do Mount Zion next month.
Where's that?
So that's in Utah. Where's that called? Colorado. Oh my gosh.
So you're not going to any place as exotic as Tanzania?
No, I actually just renewed my passport, so I should be getting it in the next couple months. And as soon as I get it, I plan on going to Costa Rica. So I'll be doing some hiking out there.
Hiking and climbing are different things, I know, but still.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So we can jump right into the meat of it, and we'll talk about just, and this BobCast will appear on LinkedIn by tomorrow, and also so that these slides will be available. It will also be on YouTube. So it's going to be there for posterity. And interestingly enough, the elevation, 19,341 feet. And I was told that when I was in Colorado at a baby mountain compared to this, that when you get to 5,000 feet, every 1,000 feet after that, one cocktail equals two, is the same as two. So that I was reminded that I should watch my alcohol content when I get to that certain level. Naturally, I had to test it, and it's true. It's all very, very true. So having said that, we could kind of like jump right into it, and I'm going to stop my sharing my screen and let Drea pull up her screen, and she and Mike are going to talk through his trek so she can give him some tips. And as I understand it, Drea, this is the same climb that you did?
It is. It's a Coca-Cola route. It's there's 5 routes on the mountain. You can do different ones with the altitude adjustment. Some people need it, some people don't. It's kind of just preferably how you want to attack the mountain. Sorry. I don't know how to make it bigger.
Hit the slideshow up on the top, where it says slideshow.
Sorry.
Nope, to the right, to the
My
left.
thing. Oh, it's not letting me with the sharing screen. Sorry.
It will. It should. Okay, that's fine. We can use that. We can see it.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, so yeah, so you want to talk about the first couple days, because you're pretty much in the same terrain, the same 2 days, the first 2 days, which is all forest. I had monkeys swinging across from me. The humidity is very intense because you're in such a big tree line. I think that you don't need the cold clothes that you'll be using on day 3 or 4. So that is super exciting. Do you want to talk about the first couple days until you get to the second camp?
Well, it like you've mentioned, it's total acclimation.
Yes.
And the guides will tell us, because I've read about it, and people that I know that have either summited Kili or attempted to, everybody takes off walking too fast. And so fortunately, I'm not a fast walker, which my trekking friends will admit to. And so what these first couple of days are is really the guides getting you to slow down.
100%. My guide, Benji, he saw me, I think in the first 20 minutes, he was like, "Why are you going so fast? We have a whole 7 days." And I was like, "Oh, I was just, doing my pace." And he taught me, and I've done so much mountain climbing since then, but he really taught me how to properly save your energy, which is so important this whole time. And the acclimation is very intense. I don't know if you've gotten altitude sickness before, but it's not fun. I did get it at the top of the mountain. Even with acclimating each base level, it's still pretty intense. So it's good to start early and learn to save that energy, which I'm so glad Benji told me to slow down, because it's not a race. It's for you to enjoy. It's an enjoyment trip, So.
So there again, first couple of days, getting used to that slow walk. The guides will say pole, which is slow down. So it's acclimating and getting, ultimately those first couple of days will be between 9 and 12 hours of hiking. So it's kind of getting in the groove. In my case, you're not in Indianapolis anymore.
No. Yeah, and then when you go from the second camp to the third camp, it's kind of crazy how that climate obviously changes. You are on, like we said, it was a volcano. Obviously, even though it's not alive, it's still crazy. The concept of walking from camp 2 to 3, you actually get the whole feeling that you're on a volcano. You're starting to enter that desert kind of area, which is really, really cool because you can see ahead of you. You still at this point can't see the tip of Kilimanjaro. You can't see the summit. You don't start seeing the summit till you get to camp 3, and then you actually see it, which is kind of cool because in most mountains you can see your summit. you can see where you're headed. And so on this mountain, it's really a mind game because you really you can't see the summit until day 3. So you're kind of just walk in, and then you finally see it and you're like, wow, that's great. And you still have 3 days to go. So mhm.
Can't wait.
When's it gonna get cold? 'Cause
Probably
he's going there and it's wintertime,
right.
I mean-
So I went in November.
which is
So
summer.
exactly. So I went in 2016. I'm sure a lot has changed since then. So yeah, and you're going in the wintertime, and I praise you. That's intense. Yeah. So it got cold, obviously, on the first camp because at night, but then it jumped up during the day. And as you're moving, you get warm, but 2 to 3 is when I really started to feel cold. The good thing about this is you get to take the stuff out of your bag and put it on, so you're not carrying that weight. But I really started probably camp 4. I had every piece of clothing I had on me, layered. And then at the top of the mountain, I've never felt that cold in my life, where I actually thought I was going to lose my hands. And the whole time I'm thinking I did not prepare well enough for this. So it gets that cold. And it's hard too when you have altitude sickness as well. So because your brain's just not thinking clearly. So I owe it to my guide for steering.
I mean, Mike, there's a 100-degree temperature swing from when you're going here to where you'll be there. You can be in the greatest shape of anybody, you could be the Rock, and I would imagine that has a big impact on your body.
Oh, sure.
Your blood system, but you've trained for that. Is that right? I mean,
Well, of course, during July here in Indiana, you can't trade for the cold. You just have to make sure that the equipment that you're going to pull out when you get that cold, that it's the correct equipment. What I have done, and some of the other guys with me, I'm renting equipment from the trekking company. I'm renting their heavy jacket. I'm renting their sleeping bag. I'm renting, Drew, you'll love this. I'm actually renting their gloves because I wanted to make sure that what they're renting has been tested and they know that's what you need. And so I'm pretty confident in the group that this is the right equipment that I'll need.
and you won't need it in Indiana.
No.
No, you don't need to buy it.
They said to be prepared for possibly 10 below type of thing at the summit. So I've been that cold before. I didn't like it. So we'll do some summit photos and then get down quickly, or as quick as we can.
So we were at Camp 3 and then going to Camp 4. As I look at the map, that's a strange way to get there.
So that's more rock climbing. So you'll be more like on the side of the mountain. It's actually pretty crazy. It's the elevation, you really jump there. It doesn't look like it, but you're just kind of climbing the rocks and moving on the side. There's a lot of switchbacks. And around there, it's kind of crazy. You actually start taking pictures of like the wildlife around you, because that's the last time you're going to see wildlife. As soon as you go past that, it's just crows. They're just flying around and you don't see any wildlife. You don't see any plants, anything like that. So that's kind of the last trek you see anything on. And then it starts getting in volcano mode from there.
I mean, that's where you start to see your life pass before your eyes, right? I mean, you're going from some sense of civilization to no sense of civilization.
Exactly. Camp 3 to 4, that's exactly what's happening.
Wow. So, those camps, What are they on a flat surface? What are you sleeping on? I mean, are you nailed to the side of a mountain, or are you?
Yeah. So 1 and 2, you're in the forest, and these are just it's kind of like a land area cleared out. They have restrooms there. They have kind of like a setup with all the trees around you, so it's super pretty. And you'll have a tent. They set the tent up every time for you. That's what they did for me. So they moved ahead and they would set the tent up, which was super great. And from 3 to 4, it's just land and then a drop. So you can see everything you've climbed. You're like, wow, it just drops off. It's amazing. 5, I was honestly so exhausted by then that it was kind of like 3 and 4, but you could see the summit, which was really such a beautiful sleep. You know, you can wake up, walk out, and see what you're about to climb. I did the summit. I'm sure you guys are doing the same thing. We left it at 12 midnight, and then we started the summit, and it took about 6 hours, and then you see the sunrise. I'm sure you're doing the same thing. It's breathtakingly beautiful. So you don't really spend much time at Camp 5 because you're ready to summit. They push you, and you're kind of off and ready to go. So 5, you don't spend too much time at. And then when you come down, you rest for 20 minutes, and then they're like, all right, let's go down. So you don't really spend too much time at Camp 5, but the other camps are just gorgeous and all different terrain. I mean, this is the only, out of the 7 summits, this is the only summit that is a lone standing mountain. There's no mountain range attached to it. So you have to remember, you're really facing every climate possible while you're climbing on each base camp. Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of curious, which one's harder, going up or down?
Down. My knees hated me for weeks after. You're just holding your body weight coming down. I asked Benji, my tour guide, I'm like, why do you guys not have zip lines down? I'd pay for that. Just zip me down. But yeah, it's really hard on your body to go down. So if you have poles, definitely use them.
Well, the other thing that, and because of some of the other climbs and hikes that I've done, down climbing is very hard to train for.
It's very hard.
So it's really easy to train going up, but coming down, stopping your body from going forward, it's just hard to train for.
Absolutely. And I did not train for it at all. So the fact that you know that, you are going to be so much better off than I would have been. So
one of the things we've been doing is going over to one of the local high schools, and actually also one of the universities, and doing the stadium steps. And that's mainly to practice get your legs ready for that downhill. Because it's a bear. Everybody thinks, oh, you'll come down so much faster than going up, and you don't.
Well, and Mike, it's a 2-day down, correct? You're doing the 5-day up, 2-day down. I mean, and those 2 days, because you're not acclimating with those 5, the 2 days you're going down, you're like, oh, did I see all this? Is this, I mean, you are doing a different descent down, but it is pretty crazy because you're not, you've already taken in everything in every level, and now you're going through it so fast in 2 days. So it's pretty crazy to see. The descent is a different story.
So, all right. So now let's pretend like we're down at the Amwika gate. Is that how you would pronounce that? That's the bottom?
It is the bottom. It's a celebration area. They literally have an area at the end, and there's no alcohol allowed on the mountain, but at the end, you're allowed to buy a beer. They have a beer called Kilimanjaro. They give it to you, and they give you your certificate then. And it's just great because you can celebrate with your team, with who you went with, and everyone that helped you get up the mountain. And it's just a really great celebratory camp. And you can even see everyone else celebrate, which is super cool because you can see everyone else's accomplishments, and you can just bounce the energy off of it. It's a really great area. I enjoyed my celebration, and I think it was worth celebrating, obviously. So I hope you enjoy that gate, because it's really great. And then they take you away from the mountain and you're sad the experience is over.
And Mike, you're traveling with 15 other people, right?
The whole group is 15, yeah.
And they're from all over the place?
My friends that I know, 4 of them are from Indianapolis, one's from Chicago, and one's from California. The other 9, we have not met yet. So yeah, they could be from all over the world.
Well, we hope they're not serial killers, Mike. What? So who I can't remember the guy's name that was the first one to climb Mount Everest, but they asked him why he did it. And his answer to me was really cool. His answer was because it was there. Is that why you're doing this? Drea, is that why you did it? What's the allure?
I did it when I was so young. I feel like I want to do it again because I didn't, have the knowledge I have now, but that probably was my, yeah, sure, let's do it. So probably then, yeah, that would have been my answer.
Mike, why are you doing it?
Well, the challenge, totally the challenge.
You travel too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Other than
the highest I've been is 14.7. So to add another 5,000 feet is, as Drea has mentioned, it's night and day difference, that 5,000 feet. So it's a challenge. So
hey, his business goes too. I mean, I know that your expertise is in employee experience, employee engagement, and one of the, in the areas of business that we work in, particularly predominantly resorts, it's hard for them to encourage their employees to take a vacation someplace exotic because they work at exotic places. And so this is the kind of thing that if you're an employee at a resort, this would be a cool thing to do. I have to figure it's not all that expensive. I mean, it's probably expensive to get there, but the excursion itself, I would imagine it's not a real preventative cost. And so we wanted to feature this because it's just another example of travel that you don't really hear about. You hear a lot about going to the beach. You hear a lot about going, to skis, but you don't hear about something this kind of an excursion. And to me, to both you guys, hey, congratulations! It takes a lot of courage. When I look at something like this, I wonder whether or not I can break a nail. And if I can break a nail, I'm not doing it.
Go to the beach.
Well, I don't golf, so
Beach is calling your name.
Beach. I don't know. I'm not a beach person. But I will go to the local estabulary if they sell nice red wine. That's a vacation experience for me. So, in any event, though, Drea, one piece of advice for Mike, what would it be?
When you are going up, the whole time I kept looking forward and I never looked back. And I just recommend looking back and seeing what you have done and seeing the views, because I feel like I just kept looking forward, just determined to get to the summit. And I don't think I fully took in what was around me. Also, I know with the mountain changing every year with climate, I really recommend taking as many pictures as you can, because I'm sure the surfaces have changed even since I went back in 2016. There is a glacier at the top. I have no idea how big it is now. I do have a photo of it. We can put it along with the slideshow if everyone would like to see it, but Mike, definitely take a picture of the glacier because I want to see how much is still left. But I definitely just look back, look at what you're doing, and looking forward is always great. But yeah, look back. The views are just as beautiful, and I'm sad I missed out on them. Really sad.
That's a great idea, because you're right. on the excursions like this, you're always looking forward.
Yeah. You're looking at your feet. You're looking at your feet as you walk. You never really look up even then. So
Great advice. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, anybody have anything else to add here?
No. Well, good luck and stay warm.
I'll do
You're
it.
gonna love it. You're gonna love it, and you might even get hooked and then do all of them.
Well, how many have you done, Mike?
Well, of what Drea is referring to is the 7 summits.
Yeah.
So it's what people go after, and they're the highest summits, 7 summits, the highest on each continent is what people want to knock off. Is kind of
How many have you done?
None.
This is your first.
Yeah, for the highest on a continent. Yeah.
How about you, Drew? How many have you done?
I've only done one. I plan on doing this November. I plan on doing North America, which is in it's Why am I blanking? It's in Washington. But yes, I'm doing.
Let us know. The last thing that I would like to just throw in here before we stop the recording is that Mike and Drea are going to figure a way to connect so that Mike can send a couple of paragraphs every day about what he's experiencing, and we can chronicle it. And that will be on the LinkedIn channels, also LinkedIn groups. So you go to Bob Koback, you go to the different groups that you might be a member of. And I'm sure Drea will put it on hers, and I know Mike is going to put it on his. So be looking for it and enjoy it, because I'm sure Mike is going to have some cool stuff to report back. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
No doubt.
No doubt.
I know.
All right, I'm going to stop the recording now, and thank you everybody for your time and for joining us today. Again, I'm Bob Koback. I can be reached at bobkoback@mobiusvp.com.